Hello and good morning. Now, if it doesn't feel like a Valentine's Day has come and gone, maybe it's because you were working all day or you were in traffic.
Yes,
or
of course, traffic.
I wasn't working all day, so
Neither was that, so I don't know what you're Well, for me, Valentine's Day came with so many activities. As you can tell, my voice literally went with activities.
Yep.
And of course, I had such a great time. I wish it lasted longer, but hey, I mean, we have to work, and Valentine's Day is just 24 hours.
It's okay, we know. But we're trying to extend it with this look. I'm trying to extend my Yeah, thank you. I didn't get to wear it yesterday. I must wear it.
Yeah, so nice,
I must wear it.
It's
And we have a brand new day before us. It's going to be an all-ladies edition today as well. We thought you needed some of our sweetness to help bring that kick to your day.
Of course. Good morning and welcome again to your #1 breakfast show right here in Nigeria, Wake Up Nigeria.
We have quite a lot to look forward to today. There's loads we're going to be sharing with you in just a bit. By the way, my name is Titilayo Oyeson.
And I am Winfrey Agbeleshe. Watch us live on GOTV channel 27 and on UHF channel 49. You can also watch us on the go if you download the TVC app on the Play Store and Android Store as well.
Yes, indeed. So, social media. When it comes to social media, we're all over that space as well.
Of course.
We love your comments and contributions. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC as soon as you post them. Yeah? We're going to be going shortly into our nutrition segment.
Yes, of course.
We're going to be discussing home or school gardening and what the benefits are for our nutrition. Our nutritionist and public health specialist, Iwalola Akinjimo, will be here to talk about it.
And after that, we have relationship coming up, and we will be looking at an interesting topic. Are Gen Z ready for marriage? I don't think so. With the relationship mentor and speaker, Toju Oluwatoyinbo.
And then we'll be having a final guest. As always, we're going to be giving you something really interesting to watch. We have an actor, producer, director,
Chris Oyeson. Happens to be your namesake.
Yeah, so, well, we had such a really great day yesterday, and the weather was so amazing. Hopefully the weather will continue to be amazing today.
Yeah.
Hello and good morning. It's time for us to take a news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Titilayo Oyeson. Thanks for watching. We begin with the controversy surrounding the Naira redesign policy, as the Central Bank of Nigeria says there's no going back on the February 10th, 2023 deadline for the swapping of the old 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira and 200 Naira notes. While there has been controversy over the deadline, with some governors dragging the Apex Bank to the Supreme Court, and the court restraining the bank from implementing the deadline, the CBN maintained that the date remains sacrosanct. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele said this on Tuesday, during a meeting with members of the diplomatic corps in Abuja. He acknowledged the inconveniences caused by the Naira redesign policy and an elevated agitation, but called on Nigerians not to exaggerate it so as not to create a panic. The Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, says relief is underway on the current hardship and discomfort Nigerians are facing by the fuel and currency scarcity. Mr. Gbajabiamila, who disclosed this during the launch of the second phase of his project, said the House of Representatives are on the side of the people. He said the whole situation is the handiwork of saboteurs and enemies of democratic structure. The lawmaker insists those behind the current hardship are doing it to scuttle the chances of the APC presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu.
As your representative and speaker, I have a good understanding of the current hardship and discomfort being faced by many Nigerians, without exception to many of you, my constituents. The House of Representatives, under my leadership, has been on the side of the people working tirelessly to rescue you from economic saboteurs seeking to derail the successes of President Buhari and the APC administration. The good news is that relief is underway. A well-thought-out plan by President Buhari has been hijacked by some people.
And now outside Nigeria, 3 students were killed and 5 others injured after a gunman opened fire on the Michigan State University campus on Monday night. The victims were all students at the university. Police said the injured remained in critical condition. They said a caller's tip led them to the suspected gunman, who died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suspect, who has since been identified, had no ties to MSU. Chris Rosman of the Michigan State University Police confirmed that the 43-year-old suspect had no affiliation to the university. He was not a student, faculty, or staff, current or previous. Questions still remain about the motive of the gunman, who was identified as 43-year-old Anthony McCrae. And that's all we have time for when it comes to the news for this hour. We'll be back with more after this break.
Welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Winfrey Agbelisha, and it's time for us to take the newspaper headlines. I'll be starting today with The Guardian, and for the major headlines here, we have banks risk run on as citizens await Supreme Court's intervention. And above the headlines, the major headlines there to the left, we only granted Fani Kaide bail. Investigation continues, says DSS. We have that on page 3. Bawa not defined court, says EFCC, as over 100 CSOs petition National Assembly. We have that on page 3. To the right of that, we have G5 not dead. We're silently strategizing, says Wike. We have that on page 29. Zamfara evicts NGOs for allegedly fueling insecurity, impunity. We have that on page 30. And right there below the image on the strip, on the pink strip, we have Igbo Elders Forum Efenifere warns against imposition of interim government. And we have that on page 3. And that's all we'll be taking for The Guardian. We'll quickly be moving on to The Punch. And for the major headlines here, we have Naira crisis worsens. We have that on page 2 for the riders. We have confusion over CBN silence on old notes legal tender status. POS agents, customers fume as protesters barricade road. Emefiele justifies Naira redesign, accuses politicians of mop-up. And at the very top of the masthead to the left, we have resist interim government temptation. Efenifere tells Buhari. We have that on page 25. To the right of that, we have Revenue Commission to review politicians' salary. We have that on page 20. U-turn INEC to keep sensitive election materials with CBN. And below the image there, we have NYSC warns coppers against crime as orientation ends. We have that on page 18. To the left, at the bottom, we have contempt. EFCC kicks as CSOs demand Bauer's removal. We have that on page 26. To the right of that, we have trapped earthquake victims cry for help. Death now 41,200. We have that on page 12. To the right of that, we have Lagos pastor bags live jail for impregnating 2 sisters. We have that on page 4 and 5. That's all we'll be taking for The Punch. Moving quickly on now, we're going to The Nation. For the major headlines here, we have legal giants knock Emefiele for disrespecting Supreme Court. For the riders there, we have CBN governors, no extension of deadline position raises dust. Apex Bank boss queues at ATM, points artificial. Presidency, no action taken yet. And above the mastheads to the very left, we have energy demand to rise, says NNPCL CEO. We have that on page 7. NACON to screen airlines for Hajj operations. We have that on page 6. And of course, you have tried the rest. Now choose the best. We have that coming from APC, Tinubu and Shetima campaign. And that's all we'll be taking for the newspaper headlines this morning. And right now, we'll be going for some fitness. Do stay tuned.
All righty then. Yeah, we're in the kitchen, and loads happened yesterday. Yesterday being Valentine's Day,
Yes.
but both of us weren't here on air because we decided to go have a good time. You know, leave everyone else do the work.
Yes,
but how did you spend your Valentine's?
My Valentine's was interesting. Okay, very importantly, I actually was at MM's event, sanitize the girl child. It was amazing. I love the fact that this Valentine's, a lot of people actually did a lot of reach out, because one of my partner girls as well did an outreach to the elderly. She went to an elder's home and all of that with some supplies, with some other pattern girls, and they did that. But I was at the sanitize the girl campaign. Yeah. We went to a school somewhere in Ikorodu, Keme Balogun school, and it was amazing. We had girls from SS1 to 3, spoke to them about etiquette, which was the segment I handled. Etiquette, how to be groomed as a proper lady, how to sit, how to stand, how to speak, all kind of things. And of course, we had BC, of course, from your view, talk to them about finding their purpose and finding their true self. Then, very importantly, we had a conversation on sexual education and personal hygiene, and it was amazing the feedback we got. Right, initially the girls were actually shy, but when it came around to the question and answer segments,
They were
it
asking.
was overwhelming. The questions they were asking from their personal experiences, because they were asking questions like, what if your father is sleeping with you? What if, like, what do you want to do if you want to run away from home? It was grim, to be honest. We had some girls, because the questions, and then once, because they were initially shy, but once one question
Once they opened up.
Exactly, the questions came pouring in about how their uncles are. Of course, initially they were not saying directly, but then again, you could tell they're telling from personal experience, because these girls were really young. We had some girls crying because, amazingly, we had a counselor there. We also had someone there, Amotaya. She has a book. She's been on TV on the Wake Up before. Talk to them about sexual education and things like that. So she had, we definitely spoke about getting in contact with like child social care services and all of that. It was overwhelming.
It's actually very impressive that they're speaking now. But then there also have to be events over and over and over like this in different schools. Now, this particular school has had this opportunity to hear from women like yourself, like like BC, but how many other outreaches have to happen before this information goes around? We need to really think about that. It felt like you ladies went there to show love to them, and hopefully
we told them
they
to
felt
go home.
Yeah.
And not to go with
Anywhere
any
else.
man or any boy.
Yeah,
especially because it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
And things like that. So
and a lot of
the
people-
time seemed perfect for.
A lot of people put out a lot of weird memes and posts about, you know, how many Valentine's babies are going to be born in the next 9 months and things like that. And we take these jokes kind of lightly, but there's no smoke without fire. There's always some truth to everything people post. You just have to find that fine line within it. Speaking of fine lines, in terms of advertising, you know, everyone knows that. Well, not everyone. The assumption really is now that the whole Valentine's idea has always been a marketing gimmick, a way for people to make sales in different areas, in different ways, and make some money. After the Christmas and New Year's rush has dulled down, then something in February for people to look forward to. Advertisers and brands have been competing over the years because of this. Now, there is a telecommunications brand that is yellow, who just happened to ask another telecommunications brand or say Happy Valentine's to another
them
brand.
to be their Valentine.
Now this one just happens to be red. And you know who we're talking about, even though we won't mention their names. But there was a really interesting response from the red brand. And it was reposted all over social media. It was really romantic, but it does go
Like
to
a
show.
brand asking another brand out.
Yes. And then there were some other brands that were being called out in the comments that, look.
It happens to be the color of your hair.
Oh yes, one is the color of my hair. Like, you people better get in here before the spec networks get taken. But it is all about marketing, so let's not get wrapped up in it. God is love.
Yes, of course.
God is love.
The greatest love of all.
And we should be showing love every day of the year, not just on Valentine's. Yes, let's get all wrapped up in the chocolate and the bright colored outfits, but let's not forget that we should show love to one another.
And in
every
case you
single
chopped breakfast yesterday, don't worry, the year is still just beginning.
Wow.
You can recover.
At that point, we will be taking a quick break.
What are the benefits for our nutrition with nutritionist and public health specialist Iwalola Akinjimo? Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria once again, ma.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're talking about home and school gardening. And to be honest, I don't think I know anything when it comes to this. So can you throw more light to people like myself and others that really want to know about this topic?
Okay, one of the programs that the federal government launched in 2021 was Operation Feed Yourself.
Okay.
And the reason why this project was launched was because a lot of Nigerians were not meeting their needs for protein and micronutrients through their income. And so it was set up in such a way that people can, within the home, plant vegetables, and if they have land, plant fruit trees, and if they have space, you know, rear some animals like chickens, rabbits, and so on. And so Operation Feed Yourself is basically for you to ensure that you can, you know, provide some of these resources, foods to yourself
At home?
Yes, at home. And so home gardening, and people will say, oh, I don't have space. But the bottom line is, if you can have a bucket of water, you can have a bowl, then you can have a home garden. Because you don't really need space to be able to plant. And so if you have, you know, a bucket, and your bucket is a bit broken, you can put soil inside and fill it with some manure, and then get seeds and plant. And so that's what we're, you know, as much as possible promoting. And if you have access to a bag of cement, you can fill it with soil and even plant yams. And so you really don't need space for you to be able to plant vegetables and even rear animals if you have some space at the back. So that's what we mean by home gardening. And when it comes to the school gardening part, you find out that a lot of schools have, you know, piles of potted plants, flowers, and all that. What we're saying is it's good to have plants, absolutely beautiful. But at the same time, you can plant vegetables, and they look so attractive and beautiful, and your students can benefit from those vegetables. Your teachers can benefit from those vegetables. And even if you have enough space, you can have a vegetable, you know, farm that people can even come to buy. You know, so that's what we're promoting as much as possible. Within the small space that you have, plant something that can benefit your family. Plant something that can even benefit your neighbor if you have enough to sell. And please just also eat it.
Eat it, right? Not just plant it there. Now you said this, it throws a whole lot of lights, because something I know my mom is good at is plant, like in my house, we have scent leaves, bitter leaves, tomatoes, pawpaw, avocados. We have a whole lot. Like, just go to the back of my house. People are like, they call my house the Garden of Eden whenever they come there. And it's amazing because right from when I was younger, like, she's always moved around with her pawpaw trees and all of that, planting and replanting bananas, plantains. But what I didn't know is the bucket part. So you said if you have just a bucket, because yeah, I grew up in like a large compound. So now, you spoke about planting yams in a bucket. What's the feasibility of that?
No,
like, how does that work?
Okay, I mentioned cement bags.
Cement bags, yes.
I'm not saying buckets. I'm saying, for example, you can actually fill, you know, a cement bag with sand and plant yam seedlings there. Because, you know, a lot of people also think, okay, so how am I going to have enough water? A lot of plants don't need a lot of water to grow. And so you can you know, put in just a small bowl of water into the bucket if you have, you know, vegetables planted inside. And I'm looking at even the small, you know, potted plant that we have. You can actually have water leaf. We call it bure in Yoruba, growing from there. And you see some of these plants are such that, for example, the water leaf that we buy in the market, you don't need a lot of resources to grow it.
They're not deep roots, I guess.
Exactly. They're like shrubs. And there are also so many other things, like the ugu plant too. You don't need space, a lot of space. Of course, you need something that is going to climb on, and you can always have some wood, you know, coming out of the pot. You can always have some, you know, some frames. You can form frames. And so it's good to be innovative in your approach to micronutrient consumption. It's good to be innovative because a lot of people feel you need space. No, that's not it. So there's several other things that can be planted. You have your green. can be planted. They have, oh, I know their names in Yoruba. You can have your shoko, you know, planted. You can plant okra.
You can plant
Yeah,
okra,
you can. So
okay.
there are just tons of
Can we
things.
plant
It's just
tomatoes?
Oh yeah, you can.
Tomatoes,
You can
okay.
plant tomatoes. You can plant peppers.
Peppers.
You can even plant bell peppers. Those ones that are colorful, yellow, green, and orange. So it's just good for you to know and put your mind on it. That this can be done, and this will help my micronutrient
I mean,
consumption and that of the family.
Okay, it's amazing because I mean, a lot of us are actually used to beautifying our homes with normal flowers. How much more in those flowers? Because yes, of course, all these things you're talking about are mostly green, and they also have beautifying purposes as well.
Yeah.
So now, also considering the fact that in the markets now, that the prices have skyrocketed based on everything that's happening around. So if you plant these things, you can actually have them at home. Now let's talk about the importance of consuming micronutrients so that they actually know what are the importance.
Okay, so we've had a lot of conversations around that in the last two episodes.
Yes.
So one of the key things I kept emphasizing was the fact that if you don't have enough micronutrients, your body functions is not optimal.
Okay.
And I did explain that right from the brain function to blood pumping around your body, to you being able to even regulate your blood pressure. For a child to be able to grow properly, you need micronutrients. And I emphasize the fact that for a woman that is pregnant and she goes for antenatal, she's given certain micronutrients. And I did mention iron, I mentioned calcium, I mentioned folic acid, and that it is important for the woman to consume those micronutrients because the foundation for a healthy adulthood is laid right there when you're pregnant. And so if a mother gets enough micronutrients right during pregnancy and has a good birth, and the child, and then also as much as possible ensures that when the child is going to school, you have a diversified meal that you allow your child to take to school.
Yes.
Then you're laying a lot of foundations for good and healthy growth in adulthood.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Very interesting conversation. And thank you for being here. And of course, we'll continue this session next week. Thank you, guys. You actually heard that. Plant some fruits in your house today, or plants in your house today. And we're going to quick break right now. When we come back, so much more coming on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay tuned.
Thanks for staying with us. Today is February 15th, and that is also the International Childhood Cancer Day. And we've been joined by Dr. Nneka Nwobi. She's a seasoned and committed healthcare professional with extensive experience leading public sector on childhood cancer awareness. She also runs Children Living with Cancer Foundation. It's great to have you in the building with us, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And I have to say thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
And may God continue to give you the grace to keep it up. But you need to give us a little insight into some of the statistics. A lot of people out there watching have never really had the opportunity to hear the reality that we have on ground all over the world.
I couldn't even say here, that's...
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, many people are not aware that children have cancer. So that's one of our biggest challenge, you know, trying to create awareness, letting people know that children also can have cancer. And it's not a death sentence. You know, if it is caught on time and if the child has the proper treatment, diagnosis made, treatment given, you know, caught on time, will have survivors. You know, unfortunately, because of the lack of awareness, we have children coming in late, at which time, you know, not much can be done for them, apart from palliative care and treating the, you know, the children as best as one can. We have about more than 400,000 children coming down with cancer worldwide every year. And in every minute, about 3 children die of childhood cancer. So it's not as uncommon as people would want to believe is there, and it's frightening.
It is frightening, it is. But let's talk about what the foundation has been able to do in this space in Nigeria. What has the foundation been able to do in terms of awareness and providing care?
I think we are trying with the awareness bits. we started 20 years ago, and when we started, you can't even begin to talk about child cancer to anybody. Most adults don't want to hear about it. It's not their portion. They reject it in Jesus' name. They're running away from you. They don't want to have the information. But now, at least, most people stay and listen to the end of your story. You understand? And in terms of what we've done, we've achieved quite a lot in that short space of time. Unfortunately, because many people were not aware, and the people that even know were like, the child would die, so why should we do much, for these children? The World Cancer Day theme for this year was closing the gap. We want to close that gap even in childhood cancers, because while we have up to 80-90% cure rate abroad, we have about 20 to 30% survival rates. You can see that the gap is too much. WHO wants to bridge that gap, make it up to 60% by the year 2030. Are we going to do that? Are we going to get there? That is the question.
So I guess the beginning of that journey towards a larger percentage of survival rate is the awareness. That's the beginning of the journey. But what is it parents need to be aware of? Yes, we're praying over our children, but what are those signs that parents have been missing that has been making some parents get their children to the hospital too late?
I want to say that the parents have been missing those signs and symptoms.
Okay.
They see it, but not. Sometimes even a medical personnel may actually miss it. For instance, let's take leukemia. The leukemias are the cancers of the white blood cells of the blood, and it has similar signs and symptoms as malaria. So a child can come down with malaria frequently, on and on and on and on. The parents are, because in Nigeria, parents are the first doctors, the first nurses, so they start treating at home first. Give the first treatment, the child becomes a bit better. They continue to give anti-malaria until they cannot do anything more. Then they take the child to the healthcare facility. So things like fever, that is there all the time. Constant. We have a slogan, Sensualian Signs, SILUAN. So the S is for seek medical advice for whatever it is that you don't understand in your child. You have a child that wakes up with headache every morning, and the headache is really maybe by vomiting. You have a child that has fever constantly. You have a child that have anemia. Whatever it is that is puzzling to you, take the child, to see his or her healthcare givers. The I is for the eyes.
Okay.
Cancer of the eye, retinoblastoma, is one of the commonest cancers that we see in children in Nigeria. So any changes in the eye, should alert the parent to have, seek for medical advice. Now, there's, around our eyes, if there's any darkening, as if there's been trauma, it's not normal. So the same with the S, seek medical advice. Okay. L is for lumps anywhere.
Any lump anywhere.
Any lump anywhere that you don't understand. Now, as children growing up, when we have injuries in our legs or have, little nodes in our groin, those are lymph nodes. So if those lymph nodes are anywhere else, even the ones that they are getting bigger, you have, in breast cancer, you have lymph nodes going up to the armpit. So if there are any lymph nodes anywhere, any swelling anywhere, any lumps, just to be certain that it's not sinister, have that child checked out. The A is for aches and pains, easy fractures and all that. Take the child, Okay. The N is for neurological signs.
Okay.
When the child is born, the child doesn't have any neck control, cannot feed by him or herself, cannot walk. A child achieves all these milestones as the child grows up. Now, those milestones can regress. If they're regressing, something is wrong with that child.
I know that there's still so much more, and honestly, there could never be enough time on the show for us to get all this information out. But please just mention the name of the website.
Okay.
So that people can visit and find out more information.
Oh, okay. We're Children Living with Cancer Foundation, and our website is www.clwcf-ngo.org.
All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this information with us.
Thank you.
There's just so much information out there that many parents might be missing. And yes, the God forbid factor is there, but also knowledge is power. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's been one amazing hour right here on your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria. It is the top of the hour. My name is Winfrey Agbeleshe, and we're in the kitchen. Standing by with me here is Chef Funke. How you doing?
Fine.
Oh, she has such a pretty smile. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so now tell me, what are we making today?
Good morning. We're making assorted pepper soup.
Okay, assorted pepper soup. All right. When you say assorted, what do you mean? What makes up assorted?
Okay, we have our onions here, we have our herbs here, the vegetable oil, we have the pepper, we have the ginger, we have our spices here.
Okay, would you know the names of all the spices?
No.
You don't know? Okay, what of this one?
Yeah,
What type of
no
pepper is
spice.
this?
Just
Dry
the-
pepper,
yes, ma'am.
normal dry pepper. Okay, so now tell me, what do we have in that pot? What did you do in the pot?
Assorted. I'm boiling it
Okay.
pre-boiled before I put the seasoning.
Before you put the... So when you say assorted, you mean shaki,
Yes, ma'am.
roundabout, all those nice things.
Yes.
All right, okay, let's see what that's looking like. Oh, it's looking like it's coming together. I can see some intestines and all of that. So now tell me, how do you prepare? Because I know assorted is very delicate. You have to clean it properly. How exactly do you clean your assorted?
Clean it with vinegar and some salt.
Okay, you clean with vinegar and some
Yes.
salt. Okay, nice. All right, I see some, that's seasoning, right? So you just put just boil it like a boiling meat, right?
Yes.
So you just put it in the fire, put some water
Yes.
and onion, seasoning,
To make it
salt.
tender before we add the spice.
So you make it tender before you add the spice. Amazing. So I'm guessing we're going to blend all of this.
Yes.
Right, we're gonna blend all of this together, make the pepper soup spice.
Yes.
And of course, ginger also has a way of giving. See, this is what I need. It's like you're in the spirit. Can you hear my voice, Abby?
Yes,
This is exactly what I need to escalate.
Some orange juice.
All right, of course, I didn't start the show alone. Titi Lara is standing by.
Yes, I am. I think we both need some of that pepper soup this morning. And hey, the show gets better at every top of the hour. Now, if you're just joining us, welcome. This is Premium Television, and it's a feel-good Wednesday edition of Wake Up Nigeria. We have quite a lot to go over the next 45 minutes, and hopefully your day has already got off to a good start. But even if it hasn't, it's about to get better. We still have quite a lot of endless entertainment planned for you this hour. And just in case you're wondering, my name is Titilayo Oyinso. You can connect with us at TVC Connect on all social media platforms. And we love the comments and contributions. And we know you're going to be talking about these our addresses today. We know. Thank you. Download the app for both Android and iOS stores. It's just one click, no stress to watch us live. But then again, you can also watch us live on GOTV channel 27 and, of course, UHF channel 49. You can watch us on the go with the TVC app, available on Android and iOS as well. Okay, then. So we've done what we can to give you info on nutrition. We also have a relationship segment coming your way. The topic is an interesting one. Are Gen Zs ready for marriage? We'll be having joining us on the couch, Chris Onyeso. He is a Nollywood veteran, actor, director, producer, over 50 movies to his name. He's going to be here sharing part of his journey on Wake Up Nigeria. Yeah, so, we didn't really get to talk about what we actually did yesterday. Well, I didn't get to. My husband and I did our usual Valentine's barbecue, where we buy loads of stuff to put on the grill. And that grill has tried, though. That grill has tried.
Memoirs of the grill.
You have, I mean, the grill.
Yes, I have.
And a big shout out to Oscar. You know, he's always just so dedicated to the. Once he starts grilling like this, you're like, what's going on? So I was doing my best to not hide all my ingredients in the kitchen from him, because sometimes he just starts throwing all sorts of things onto the grill that could have lasted a month. But yeah, so that was fun. We took a few videos. Hopefully, we'll post them up later on.
Yeah.
But it was. So the question was, go out to a restaurant or make the food at home? That's always the question every year. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, the money you would have gone to go and give these restaurant people, it's a lot of money.
It's becoming.
I know. I'm just saying, I get it. I get it. But guess what?
Like this that the Lord has made.
As you're consuming that 80,000 naira meal, you will not be thinking
to yourself that you are worth it.
Should we do takeaway?
No.
You want to have takeaway for the kids at home? No.
No, that's the thing now. So Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
I believe it's couples, if nothing, right?
Yeah.
I just believe that this kind of days come by way to remind you to experience some kind of things. I mean, it's kids all year round. So if you have kids on Valentine's Day, please be able to shove them in one room.
No.
And enjoy yourself.
When your kids come to meet you, don't worry, you feel this, you experience this
When your
very
kids
soon.
come
Like
to-
Barrow,
That's what my sister was telling me.
you
that
experience it.
Our son is one of our vows.
They came to us to say Happy Valentine's first. It wasn't social media. It wasn't somebody tagging me. It was
Who
the
are they meant
kids.
to- Yeah, I don't
So
know.
there
Who
was
they
no
meant
way.
to be? Who were they meant to go to?
Veggie.
Are you saying you that brought them
So
to
that's
the
barbecue.
world
They have to eat
through
inside.
love? No,
That
of course
money.
now. If you do it at home, fine. But when it's 80K, you enjoy it.
No.
If there's takeover, you take
Shey,
it out.
I don't do.
Take
But
it home.
hey, however you spent your Valentine's, I hope you had fun.
Yes.
All right then, let's take the weather.
With Chef Funke right here beside me, and our pepper soup, our assorted pepper soup is on the way, on the fire and getting prepped. As you can see, we have another star ingredient here. What ingredients is this?
This is a leaf.
Uziza leaf. Okay, is it the same as scent leaf?
No.
No. Okay, this one is different.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't actually know you could use Uziza leaf to actually make pepper soup. You actually can. Okay, so in case you're just joining us, we're making assorted pepper soup, and we have the ingredients right there on the screen for you right now. We have salt, water, cow leg, uziza leaf, dry pepper, bell pepper, stock cubes, assorted meats. Pepper soup makes Cameroon pepper. And of course, we have our chef right here with us. So now, chef, tell me, when did you start cooking? What's your experience with cooking like?
I started cooking from cradle, from picking stuff for my mom.
Okay.
And growing up, while on campus, I cook for fun at the hostel.
Oh, okay.
So after graduating, a friend visited and I snapped a food and it was like, Afunke, do you want to start a food business? It was that time that it ringed that, okay, I can actually make some money from cooking.
Okay.
So that was when though I've been attending some culinary lectures. So,
okay. All right.
so
Where was
from then-
school? Where was school? You said you were
It
in your
was-
campus. You started
Yes.
cooking. Where was school?
A college of education in Oyo, Emmanuel Alayode.
Oh, okay, that's Ibadan.
Yes.
Okay, are you based in Lagos?
No, in Ibadan.
You're based in Ibadan?
Yes, ma'am.
Meaning you came from Ibadan
Yes,
this morning.
ma'am.
Wow. A round of applause for our chef. All the way from Ibadan. Oh, welcome.
Thank
welcome.
you.
You deserve a very, very special welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank
okay, so now let's look into our pots again and see what's happening there. So we have everything boiling. So now tell me, what have we added to this mix?
Some seasoning and salt with
Okay.
some onions to make it tender before
Okay.
we put the spices.
So you haven't put the spice in
Yes.
yet? Okay, it's looking like you put the spice. It's looking quite different. All right, amazing thing about pepper soup. So what do you like to have pepper soup with best?
Fruit juice.
Fruit juice. This girl likes enjoyment. She just said fruit juice. Okay, so some people like to have it with rice. Some people like to have it with plantain. Some people bread. What is your favorite selection?
Some yam.
Yam. So you
boiled.
like boiled yam.
Yes.
Okay, and pepper soup. That's actually really, really nice. So now let's see again what's happening in here. We have it boiling out. Our sauteed, our seasoning, and of course our onion. And you can literally smell that nice aroma going up there. Amazing, amazing. So, I mean, it's interesting that we can have pepper soup in this season, right? It's not, the weather is not cold right here in Lagos, but yeah. I mean, I think pepper soup goes anywhere. Whether it's cold or it's hot, you can take it. But yeah, but I'm definitely waiting to have this because I need to clear my throat out properly. All right, we'll actually go on a quick break right now. When we come back, so much to come right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay tuned.
Much for joining us. It's time for relationship. And today we're going to be discussing a topic that I personally have been pushing forward because I was actually like this, the angle around this particular topic just threw me aback. And I had to sort of settle myself to discuss it. Are Gen Zs ready for marriage? Relationship mentor and speaker Toju Oluwatoyibo is back in the building with us. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
I had to settle myself to think about this. Maybe for those that don't understand what it is or what it means to be Gen Z, let's talk a bit about the age group involved.
Right. So Gen Zs are pretty much the people we call tech babies. So they're born into technology. So they're about 18 to 25.
Okay.
And they're born into the fast-paced world. Those are Gen Zs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there, well, I'm not going to ask about statistics. Are they getting married in that age group? Are they actually doing that as much as we did in our time?
No, from the work I do, from statistics I've read, from just observing even people around, friends, family, they're not getting married as early as we did.
Okay.
Even the relationships are not as serious as we took them. Back in the day, I mean, when you're around this age, you're thinking, okay, I want to get married. Yeah. Most of them are dating now to see how it goes. And if it's not working, we move. And if it's working, and then even if it works, on my terms and conditions. So they're not getting married as quickly as we did. And even if they are, their terms of marriage are totally different from what you'd expect them to be.
The mindset around getting married has a lot to do with responsibilities and commitment. Those are big words.
Yes.
But they're not usually words we associate with that particular generation, Gen Zs. Why do you think that is?
Okay, first of all, let me say this. Just like with everything in life, there are exceptions. So if we're talking generically, this applies. But I know there are some Gen Zs that you speak to and you're like, wow, you're speaking more mature than your age.
Okay.
But generally, I get a lot of this from Gen Zs, especially when it comes to relationships and marriage. And I think it's based on what I said earlier. They're really growing in a world where everything is fast, where you can have things at the push of a button, where you have options and alternatives. If you're not on Netflix, you're on Showmax. If you're not on this, you're on online. If you're not on this social media platform, you're on that social media platform. And if this one is not working for you, you block the person or you block. It's easy and there are options. And somehow, I don't know if it's consciously or subconsciously, I guess, it comes into the relationship.
Okay.
And so it's a case of it's working for me. And because, I mean, the economy of skills have balanced out.
Okay.
Woman is earning, man is earning, I go to work, you go to work. So it's like, what else are you bringing to the table?
Okay.
So it's become more difficult to be selfless, more difficult to be patient, more difficult to wait out process because you're used to fast. And if you don't intentionally calm yourself down and submit to learning, training, teaching, you're going to make a mess of your relationship and marriage.
So now that word submissive, you know, people,
they don't want to hear it.
Nobody wants to hear it these days. But the thing, I'm trying to put into perspective now, because I got married at 23. I think.
I got married at 24.
You got married at 24.
Yep.
And at that particular age, there were just some things that had been instilled in our brain to prepare us for this.
Yeah.
Do you think that parents of this generation that we're talking about have something to do with this this issue of maybe not instilling enough nuggets of information into these young people?
Let me do a sidestep and say, I mean, preparing is good, instilling a lot is good. It doesn't negate challenges in your marriage or in life in general. I mean, you study, but you enter exam hall and you see one question and like, oh my God, what is this? But being prepared helps you withstand the pressures a lot better.
Okay.
I really feel that the stakeholders, parents and friends, but speaking about parents now, may not really be helping. Okay. They are not Gen Zs themselves, and they will tell their children things like, in my days, this was how we did it, and it worked for you, so why aren't you telling your child this? I know that things are a bit different, so the way you go about it might be different, but the principle remains the same. Okay. I think parents are more interested in being friends and being liked by their children, as opposed to putting their foot down. Because you've sent them to good schools, because they are now independent and adults, doesn't mean they're not your child and they don't need sense and you don't need to instill it in them. Okay. So I really do feel like parents are a bit lax. And I mean, because you've lived your own life, 30, 40 years married, doesn't mean you should let your child do whatever they want to do because now you've sent them to good schools.
Yeah.
Because the ripple effect in society is what we're seeing today. Right.
There's someone watching right now, a Gen Z watching right now, is a guy, a girl, wondering, you know what can they do to be more prepared for that commitment, for settling down, for marriage. Age 25, probably they weren't thinking about that. They were thinking about maybe an Ivy League university or, you know, saving up for a new device or something like that. But what can they start doing right now to prepare for settling down?
First of all, take your mind off the bad news about marriage, because I know that's one of the issues they're going through. They're like, they're also born into a time where couples are breaking up easily. So they're like, is it really worth it? There are more couples working than those that are not.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, get counsel from older people. Even if you don't like your parents, because some Gen Zs just think their parents are old school and they don't want to. But there are couples that you like and their marriages are working. Try to talk to them, ask them questions, read. There's so many videos, material online. Read, and then surround yourself with people that you think are going in the same direction that you are.
Okay.
Really important.
So this issue of circle, I'm going to come back to that. There was that saying that we used to hear when we were younger, show me your friends
And I'll
tell you who you are. Now, it might have been adjusted. It could be friends on Facebook now and people you are following now on Twitter. But how important is that issue of circle? Because the circle is a lot wider than it was in our day.
I think the saying is still very true now.
Okay.
Whether it happens gradually or immediately or over time, it's going to rub off on your ideas, your ideologies. And so you realize that even if you take 5 steps forward, they say little foxes spoil the vine, right? And so somebody's idea and mentality is going to taint your own perception of what you want to do. Okay. And while you should have 100% or 85% of a good relationship or marriage, somebody has come to taint it with, make sure your husband does not talk to you like this. So make sure you don't allow your wife talk to you like this. So, and then you take that and add it to the 80% that you have that is good, but it's now tainted, it's now polluted, right? So I think that the circle really, really influences how you behave.
Okay. So now we've talked about the circle now and who you're following and online especially. But now what about the things that we should not be doing with this particular generation? What should they not be doing?
What should we not be doing for them or to them? Or?
I think it goes both ways because it feels like there are a few mistakes being made. I mean, this is my opinion. How can we avoid them?
Well, I think from the older generation to them, in as much as because everybody's really sensitive now. Everybody is don't judge and all, but I think we still need to strike that balance. So while we need to understand that they're not coming from where we're coming from, they don't know the things we know. They're not exposed to the things that a lot of them started being more active in life. COVID hit, so everything is online now. So that one-to-one touch. So we need to have that one-to-one connection with them. We can't just talk about them online or talk about them on TV. We also need to have touch points with them. Try to understand them, listen to them, hear them out. Sometimes people make mistakes not because they're foolish. It's just because they really don't know. So we also need to be intentional about not just talking about them, but talking to them and with them.
Okay, so we often used to say ignorance isn't an excuse, but in this particular situation, it actually could be a little bit of an excuse. Ignorance to the fact that not everything you see on social media is real, and this mindset of making money before you settle down seems to have really infiltrated the mindset of the average Gen Z. Now, because of the tech space, young people are making a lot more money than they ever did in our day or generations before now. So this making money before settling down thing, what do you think about it?
Money is good. Just so with the air is clear, money is good, but it's not the only or the primary currency in marriage.
Okay.
Because if you talk to even the Gen Zs now or talk about their parents and their parents who have old money and good money, and I ask them, is your mom happy? Is your dad still sleeping around? And they will tell you yes. And my mom is not happy. I'm like, so do you want to have all the money in the world and not have a man to come home to who can lead you, guide you, love you? Or a woman who has all the money in the world and throws it in your face? money is good, but if we can make it work for the relationship, not against the relationship.
Okay.
And money grows. Today is here, tomorrow is gone, but it can grow. And so if you're growing in value, understanding, and support, the money will grow as you both grow. Money is a consequence of the value you provide.
Yeah.
And so if the value is always there, the money will always come. So no, you don't need to have all the money in the world, because take 1 naira out of your 10 million, it's no longer 10 million. So don't bother
now
yourself.
9,999,000. Okay,
And inflation is on the rise. So do you really have money? Are you really that rich?
It's so funny. There was actually a couple that we went for their wedding, and I think a week after the wedding, the guy lost his job at an oil company, lost all his benefits, lost everything, and this was just a week after the wedding.
True life.
And it was just like, wow. So was she really prepared for marriage with this person, for richer, for poorer?
Yeah.
Or was it
we don't
only
say,
for richer?
a lot of people have eliminated that part from their vows. They don't want to say that. And I mean, we don't pray for bad things to happen, but life happens. So you really need to ask yourself, why am I getting married? What is the purpose of this marriage? When things look good, will I be there? When things don't look good, there needs to be something else that is weightier and connects you more than the ephemeral and surface thing. There just needs to be. Otherwise, you'll be done in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yes.
2 weeks.
You will be done in 2 weeks. No jokes.
Goodness me. I was going to go into culture, but I think we're a little short on time. The cultural barriers in different parts of the country, of course, different countries of the world, and how it affects mindset. But we'll be able to answer those questions probably online. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. On this post, please put in your comments and your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, there's still so much more to do right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Let's take a quick break and be back with more. It's supposed to be
everything definitely gets better with some music. And for a musical performance right here with me, I have singer, songwriter, and violinist Mary Shobowale, popularly known as M. Show. Hi, Mary. How you doing?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, now tell me, that M. Show, where did the name come from? Seems like a vibes person.
She's from Mary Shobowale.
Oh, sorry. Okay, now tell me about what singing has been like for you so far. When did you start?
Oh yeah, I studied music. Music has been life for me. It's been a lot of years back, and I've been doing it. It's been fun, awesome. You know, the stress that comes with it as well. But it's what I love doing, so I keep checking the vibes.
Okay, great. When did you start? So what year exactly did you start singing professionally?
I've been singing for like 15 years now.
15 years.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay. And how many songs and albums do you have dropped?
I have 8 singles.
8 singles.
I have music videos too. Yeah.
Alrighty. And tell me about your song you're performing for us today.
Okay, I'll be performing Don't Deal today. It's a
Done
love
Deal.
song.
It's a love song, of
Yes.
course. It's still Valentine's spirit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So did you write that? Did
Yes,
you write
I
your
did.
songs?
I wrote the song.
Okay, what inspired that?
A friend who is deeply in love and
Wait. Your friend
yeah, a friend.
inspired you to write a love song
The funny thing is I wrote it on the spot
on this spot.
and I performed it. Yeah, that's the funny thing.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so now tell me, when you look at your career from now, 5 years, 10 years, what do you see? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I see myself on big stages, you know, getting grounds, performing, winning awards and all.
Performing at the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
Amazing
winning
stuff.
Grammys.
Wow, amazing. Okay, I wish you all the very best with that one. Are you ready?
Thank you
From
very
Plants are beautiful. Plants are givers.
Yeah, we've had interesting conversations today, and we talked a bit about home school gardening as well. So that information in the package.
And of course, it was Valentine's Day as well, so a lot of flowers were delivered and plants as well. So yeah. And we've had Chef Funke right here with us.
Yes, so
Doing amazing. And she came in the spirit because right now,
take a seat.
myself and Titi actually have, somebody has cough, somebody has something.
Hey, don't worry, you're battling with your own battles.
I'm battling my own battles. Wow. So you've in that case, there's no conversation for you this morning.
God got my back with my
Me and Chef Funke will battle this.
Come closer to me, Chef. Come closer to
So now tell us, what exactly did we
What's
make
in
here?
Stir pepper soup garnished with some uziza leaf.
Okay.
Uziza.
What else do we have
else
in
is in
there?
it?
What else is in there?
I'm seeing a lot of obstacles inside.
Herbs. Herbs.
Herbs?
Yes.
What sort of herbs are we talking?
Rosemary.
Okay.
Calabash nutmeg.
I'm seeing something that looks like egusi inside. It's not egusi.
No, it's not egusi. We have ginger.
Okay.
And of course we have the
seasoning,
assorted.
salt.
We have shaki. We
have
have
some
some
onion.
onion.
Don't worry. I'm trying
Yes.
to prepare my mind for this
Do us
taste.
the honors.
Let me taste the broth first.
Yeah, first.
And then,
Just give me ideas of what I'm going to have when I get home. Good.
we're there.
We're there.
We're there.
All right. Yeah, that's all we see here, that we're there.
Yes, so it's lovely, 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 lovely.
Yeah.
I want to start chewing on this meat, but I know we have to say our goodbyes.
Yes, of course.
If I start chewing on this now, I might not get
End
there.
of time. Thank you so much, Chef Funke. Amazing, amazing. You coming all the way from Ibadan to be with us right here on the show this morning. Thank you. And of course, thanks to all our guests that made it, from nutrition to relationship, to the lady also talking about the cancer situation with the kids. Really touching conversation. Thank you so much to our performer as well, and everyone who made today's show a success. And most importantly, thank you for being right here with us. We'll be here same time, same station tomorrow morning for the Anti-Thursday edition. Don't touch that dial. Your view coming up. We're signing out now.
Bye.
Bye.